Hey, what's going on? I know this is a bit of a weird one, and most people try to make physical of any character, but I was just doing it just as a little bit of a meme, like, let me see how this actually would play. And, I'm not disappointed. It's strange, because I guess if you make physical characters that aren't electro or cryo and have a very slow attack speed, it's kind of like yikes. It becomes a yikes of like, okay, you're trying very hard to like making Kazuha physical or making Yoimiya physical. It's like, I mean, I guess you can, but geez, you really should just use their element. But C0 Raiden is kind of an interesting case. As you can see, the way she is able to boost her support characters, right? It makes it kind of interesting that do you really need to use her ult damage, right? Like, do you actually need to use her as an ult character? Because I've seen a lot of people complain that she can't work well with Beidou while she's bursting, because while she's bursting, Beidou's ult doesn't work. But when she's in the physical mode, you can use Beidou, and Beidou's ult will actually work. Meanwhile, getting the benefit from Raiden's skill, so it's hitting harder, you get the double electro resonance, and you get to use an awesome weapon like the Crescent Pike. So it's like you just keep winning. In terms of physical weapons, the Crescent Pike is one of the best physical weapons in the game, especially at higher refinements. So the fact that she's a polearm user and has permanent skill uptime and is pretty nice. And as you see, I used a full Remy set, and you're like, what, a full Remy set on the physical? But when you actually calculate it out, a full Remy set is the same, it's literally the exact same as a Pale Flame, but Pale Flame you don't lose any energy, but kind of only goes into physical, right? And I actually kind of considered leveling the Crescent Pike just because of how good it was when I was using it. I was like, holy cow, I really want to kind of 90 this and get more refinements on it, but I'm chilling out for now. I want to save my prototypes or something more just in case, right? If there's nothing better, then sure, why not? But yeah, like when I looked at the character itself, and I was looking at how she is and how she can make her supports do a lot more damage with her skill, and how she's still doing decent damage with her burst, even on a physical build, I was like, this is actually not bad. She has low EM, she has low energy recharge, so she's not really going to be getting her burst up that much. But with Fischl there to battery her and double Favonius, or even just a single Favonius on the team, you're going to get 15 energy pretty quickly, and her passives, of course. You're going to get 15 energy pretty quickly. So the Shimenawa set's not that bad. And if you're too worried about the Shimenawa set, you could just go, balls to the wall physical and go on the full Pale Flame set, because she has permanent uptime on her skill, so it's perfect. I genuinely think if you want to run her on physical, it's decent. I'll say it's decent, because you don't have to think about things like, oh, do all my characters on the team have an 80 cost burst? Do I have enough ER on her? Like, I gotta make sure that I maximize her ult as much as possible. Did I give her the buff in time so that I can get the full damage out of her burst? You kind of just take your stick and then start slapping things around with it while your supports are doing more damage. I really do like it. And it's not like her burst doesn't do anything. As you still see, I'm still hitting around 20Ks with it. Could I hit way higher? Obviously. If I had C2, I probably wouldn't go with this build. But C0 to me feels a bit awkward, I would say. Because I would definitely want to release a video where I kind of showcase more of a C0 rating on the normal build. It's very awkward at C0, to be honest. The damage is okay, but just realizing where to put her on the team is weird. It's always weird. But as a physical DPS, she's decent, She's decent, and her purpose of helping the team and strengthening the team still persists. So I know it's probably not the best still. Like in comparison to the full build, like her regular full emblem set, or her 2-piece Thundering Fury, 2-piece Noblesse, or some mixture with ER set type of builds. Like, I'm pretty sure those ones are going to be mathematically more damaging, but it's also part of a new set, and things like that. Like, if you're trying to get her most ideal set, and it's going to be harder for a lot of players to have that, and a lot of players probably already have a Crescent Pike, right? So why not just run this build if you have physical stuff already, right? If you have, because Pale Flame has been out for a while now, so you can definitely run that on her instead of Shimanoa. And you know, you can run, or just 2-piece physical, 2-piece, you know, 2-piece Bloodstain, 2-piece Pale Flame. So you could do stuff like that on her with the Crescent Pike, and it will do pretty nicely. You know, but and especially if you have like Rosaria at C6, it's like, oh, that combination is good. Though you don't really need it because Superconduct is already 40%, right? And so 40% res downs, and so most of the time it's not even going to be, it's not going to add that much more damage to your rotations with Rosaria. It helps, but you know, it goes, their resistance is going to negative, so it's not going to be as efficient anyway. So it's not like, oh, you need C6 Rosaria to be able to run Raiden like this. It's like, it helps if you have it, right? So, but this is kind of my favorite comp for it. You really need the shielder in Diona, because you're gonna see what happens to me when I did not have my shield. 1 and 2, and I'm done. So you definitely want a shielder in the team. But one thing I will say is she doesn't have the fastest attack speed, but you know, Raiden doesn't have the fastest attack speed, but it is satisfying. Her stagger pressure is ridiculous, though. I will say that she knocks characters around, making grouping a little annoying if you're gonna play her. And it doesn't matter which version you play. Her stagger pressure is kind of like crazy. Like she just be knocking them back. For tankier enemies like this samurai, it's actually okay, and it's kind of satisfying how hard she hits. But in like smaller enemies, or even the Geovishaps, like you saw me knocking them around and having to kind of move around and reposition, which is fine on the physical build, but on the electro build, when you only have 7 seconds to do high DPS, it feels really bad if you have to chase around the enemy, as opposed to the physical build. You don't have to chase the enemy. You don't care. You're losing DPS, but not as much as you would with the electro build. So that's why I'm like, the physical in that way is pretty nice, because I know a lot of people might not like the a 7-second DPS kind of play style. And one thing that I still like about this team comp in general, or team comps around physical Raiden, is that she still is boosting the team out with her skill. Think about that. Her Ire Stormy Judgment is still boosting out the team's burst damage. So like you see, all these characters are bursting, except Diona's not really doing damage, but like Official when she bursts and when Rosaria's bursts, you know, they're both benefiting from her Ire Stormy Judgment. So you're looking at it and it's like, oh, all right, so she's still doing a lot of damage through helping her supports hit harder. The best part is you can still run her with Beidou and have Beidou proc and boost her out. But that's the video, guys. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you in the next one.